this is going to be kind of a different video. I'm not a prepper, or am I? But I feel a little bit of preparation goes a long way. And one of the things that you can prepare is, if you like butter like I like butter, I'm going to make some ghee. And ghee, that's spelled G-H-E-E. It's been around for centuries. And they use it out in Asia and all over the world for years and years and years. But I've recently went out and purchased it, and you can get a little bottle of it. It just costs a fortune. So I'm learning how to make my own, just out of regular salted or unsalted butter. It doesn't matter. So what I do is, basically, I'm going to render down regular butter, like I said, salted or unsalted butter, and clarify it to get rid of the milk solids, the water, and the sugars. So what I have here is a little setup. I've got my oven. Right now you can't see, but I'll show it. It's at 200 degrees. So what I'm going to do is, I have these Kerr self-sealing mason jars. Now there's all sorts of, there's Ball and all those out there, but they're self-sealing. They have the caps on them and the bands. And what I'm going to do is, these already been washed out and cleaned and everything, but I'm going to stick them in the oven at 200 degrees, and I'm going to sterilize them. Plus, the bottles themselves, when I take them out to put the ghee into them, they'll be hot already, and it won't be putting hot into cold and cracking the glass. So right now I have the oven already preheated. I'm just going to stick these puppies in there, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. So next, I've got just a pot, stainless steel pot, and I've got 2 packages of unsalted countryside. I bought this at Aldi's. It was fairly inexpensive, but I found that butter now is, every week I go out to buy some, it keeps getting more and more expensive. So it's another reason I want to make ghee. So with those containers, by the way, were 1 pint. I would recommend, if you can find them, get half pints, because that way when you open one up, you know, you use it, and you don't have to have a bigger one, and you'll go through them quicker. You'll be able to use them and leave them out. Because once you open it up, you can put it on the counter, or put it somewhere out of the light in a cool, dark place, and you don't have to refrigerate it. So I only had the pint ones. I got a couple of them. This is just my first time doing this. I just want to let you know. And so we'll give it a shot. So they say, I looked up, for 1 pint, you need 4 sticks of butter. So I got 2 packages of 4 sticks of butter. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to turn it down. I just want to, at first, get all this butter, and I'm not going to leave this on camera. I'll turn this off here in a minute, but you know, each one of these sticks, they've been sitting at room temperature for a while, but they are still solid. And I'll just go through them all, and basically just go ahead and put them all in the pot. So I'll get back to you when they're all in there, and we'll start getting this melted down. Right. I've got all that butter out, and it's starting to melt in the pot. Now at some point, this is just on warm right now, but at some point I'm going to bring this temperature up to the lowest point, to where it's going to start boiling, and then I'll explain this all to you as we go along. And this is something you got to keep your eye on, constantly keep your eye on it, and so you don't burn butter. As everybody knows, the worst thing you do right now is I burn all this butter. We've got a little station set up. When I pull my jars out of the oven, I'll put the rack up on there. I've got a little jar grabber here, another little rack if I need it for the jars. I'm drying the lids and the bands, or the caps. I got a little strainer here that towards the end, when it's boiling, there's a foam that I'll get into that also, and we're going to scoop out some of that foam just towards the end so we get a good view of the clarity of the butter. I've got a measuring bowl here with a little strainer thing on it, and I don't have what do they call that cloth, cheesecloth, but I do have some coffee filters, and I'm going to try that, and we're going to pour that into there. So let's see what happens. So right now, let me get this all rendered down into a liquid, and we'll bring that temperature up and get this boiling. Okay, we've got about a total of 20-25 minutes. I'm starting to see down to the bottom of the pan. Turned it up and the foam really started to go, but if you look, you can see the bottom here. Well, let's see if you can see that. See, the bottom is starting to turn brown there. That's the sugar caramelizing on the bottom. I ended up using, this is my sink here, I ended up using this type of strainer with the coffee thing in it because that little thing kept falling down the sides and it started to drip around. So let me show the results. Let me get these jars out of the oven. They've been sterilized. Let's stick them up here on this. And what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and pour this hot. Please, if you can see this, I don't know if you can, we'll fill them be pretty much all the way to the top. What we're going to do now is we will take a paper towel. We will slightly get the tops of these, make sure there's nothing along the edge. You don't want to put any water or anything like that on it. We'll go ahead and lay a top on. You feel it suck the top right down in there. And I'll go ahead and put the bands on them, or the lids. And I'm pretty happy with this. I think it might have tiny little bit of a burnt to it, but I'll know next time. And I'll want to get that to more of a brown in there, down there. But we'll see how these work out. I'll go ahead and tighten these up a little bit, just hand tighten them. And then as it cools down and it will suck all the air and they'll pop. The tops will just pop. And then I can just store them away someplace. And the nice thing, it'll get solid. And I'll show you the end results later on. But it'll end up getting solid. So if I wanted to take some of this out, put it in a little plastic thing while I go backpacking and camping, I'll have some ghee with me. That'll be perfect. So I'm a little upset about the color on it, but it's my first time and I will know next time. So anyway, guys, I'm not a prepper, and that's my ghee, and I'll show you the end result. Guys, this is the final result. It has solidified 24 hours later. This is about 24 hours later, and my ghee has solidified. I'm happy with it. Remember, this is the first time I've done it, and it'll only get better from here. But as you can see, it has solidified into ghee, butter, whatever you want to call it. Seriously, I'm not a prepper. I travel in my van now and then. I converted my van. I'm a backpacker, hiker, camper, outdoors kind of guy. But am I a prepper? I don't know. In this day and age with all this crap that's going on in the world, all this BS about food shortages and high inflation and mega inflation and shutting down of all these grocery stores and stuff like that, I don't know. There are some food items out there that maybe I can just store them away and, prep for the future. I'll use the word prep, so I'm just preparing a little bit for any upcoming event that I'm not ready for. Maybe I will be, but who knows. So anyway, here's what I'm gonna do. I sent away for some of these Wallaby. They're called a gusset type of bag. It's a Mylar 7.5 mil thick bag that has a seal on the top that's a zipper seal, but you still have to heat seal them along the top. There's 30 of these gallon bags. It comes with 30 400 cc oxygen absorbers, and 30 labels to label them. Now, with a gallon bag, they say you can use oxygen absorbers from 300 up to 800. This happened to come with the 400 one, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to show you the equipment that I'm going to use and the food items that I'm going to store in these. So let's get to it. First of all, I have a 20-pound bag of rice. I've got some really inexpensive, old-fashioned 100% oat, and I've got some pasta, some pen pasta, and I'm going to store them in these Mylar bags and then just go ahead and stick them away in a 5-gallon bucket. I am going to have to seal them with an iron because I do not have one of those sealers. So they tell you to put your iron on a wool setting, put it on a board, iron the top to seal it up. I'm also going to weigh out each bag, so kind of get a feel for, maybe I'll do 4 of these bags, see what fits in a gallon. This is another experiment of mine, and we'll see how it turns out. There you go, guys. I've got 4 1-gallon, 5 pounds each of long grain rice in my good old Lowe's bucket, which I will put the top on it, store that away. I've got 2 pounds, 10 ounces of old-fashioned oats with a 400 cc oxygen absorber. I've got 2 pounds of pen pasta with a 400 cc oxygen absorber. So, I'm not a prepper. I'm really not. This is just in case. There's so much more to the preppers world. Everybody thinks they're crazy anyway. But I made some ghee. I'm happy I learned how to do that. I'm happy I learned how to do this. And this is inexpensive stuff. I packed this all away. It'll last, it'll be there if the proverbial poo-poo hits the paddle fan, and I'm ready to go. So, hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm getting ready to take a great backpacking trip up in Virginia and go into trail days. So in the meantime, I thought I'd just give you my non-prepper things that I'm doing here. Take care, and thank you for following Walker's World. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. I'm not a prepper. Really not a prepper.